Hello everyone. In this video we will take an in-depth look at the fall 2023 collections of two famous Italian fashion houses, Prada and Fendi, and try to understand which trend unites them. It seems to me that this video format is one of the best ways to understand the stylistic features of the house and the future trend. And it can help you add next season's fashionable details to your closet, even if you can't afford premium brands. The key is to understand the concept behind a particular trend. And also, if you like this video, please give me a like or comment. It will help me to make the next video on this topic with great enthusiasm. Here we go. For fall 2023, many of the Prada runway models came in matching looks, ready for an impromptu game of spot the difference. This wouldn't be the first time Raf Simons and Mrs. Prada played with the idea of doubles at the Italian fashion house. The brand's spring 2022 collection was presented simultaneously in Milan and Shanghai, requiring that every look be created in duplicates. But the idea behind fall 2023 is less identical twin, more fraternal twin. Pairs of looks followed each other down the runway, with slight tweaks between the two, like the opening duo. Each featured a white skirt and a crew-neck sweater, but the colors of the sweaters and the embellishments on the skirts differed. Later, two takes on a ribbed knit and high-waisted work pant walked, one in a yellow and lilac combo, the other mint and peach. And speaking of pants, if any brand can get the fashion crowd back in a slim leg, it's Prada. The pleated styles cropped at the ankle felt both like a callback to a more prim era in fashion and a fresh, new silhouette after several seasons dominated by wide leg styles. Doubling down on ideas in this way allows each individual design choice to really shine, like the perfectly placed pockets and voluminously cut backs on a series of cape-like jackets. Each evening dress had its own train and specially placed folds and ruches, gathering the fabric away from the neckline or hitching it around the hips. A new examination of uniform dressing has quickly becoming a theme out of Milan. We saw it with Fendi's fall 2023 collection, too, whether the starch whites of a nurse's uniform, the muted neutral tones of army get-ups, or the oversized suiting of an office worker. Interestingly, bridal gowns fall under this category for Simons and Mrs. Prada, which here were turned into mini and midi skirts. This exchange, between the notion of the everyday and occasion wear, the familiar and the exceptional, gives a different importance to both. The show notes read: also key for the Prada fall 2023 collection is the concept of protection or safekeeping. Much of the collection, whether it was a camel blazer, a black leather overcoat, or even a puffer miniskirt, featured plenty of padding built into cocooning shapes. Even the floral motif reflects on this idea. Flowers, tokens of affection, are simultaneously evocative of the craft of fashion, another gesture of care. Ultimately, with the fall 2023 collection, Simons and Mrs. Prada aim to reconceptualize, reconsider, and ultimately rediscover ideas of beauty, not in the more literal sense of other fashion houses, as Mrs. Prada built her brand on the Jolie-laid aesthetic of ugly beauty, but in that uniquely Prada way, which no other designer has quite been able to mimic. See, for example, the shoes paired with every look on the runway, elegant pumps decorated with a graphic take on florals and bows. Beautiful, yes, but also ever so slightly off-kilter. Kim Jones keeps it in the family for Fendi fall 2023. There's no shortage of chic women in the Fendi family, from the five sisters who took over the business founded by their mother and father through to the next two generations which followed, which means that current Fendi artistic director Kim Jones has the luxury of choice when it comes to picking a muse. For fall 2023, he found inspiration in how fourth-generation Fendi and jewelry designer Delfina Delatrese styles her family's fashion line. It's deconstructed, but luxurious. There's a little nod to punk, and my admiration for DIY, but moved on towards something chic, Jones stated in his show notes. The first day that Delfina walked into work, she was wearing blue and brown, and I thought she looked so great. There's a chicness but a perversity to the way she twists Fendi, which is what I love. Jones carried the lingerie-inspired pieces over from his spring 2023 haute couture collection for the brand, but here, they received a more masculine makeover, building delicate, lace-edged tanks into structured white button-downs and layering lacquered styles with pinstriped pleated skirts cut to reveal a slash of leg. Texture play was essential, with Jones layering leather mini-dresses over chiffon polo shirts for a subversive take on schoolgirl dressing. Uniforms were a recurring motif, whether in the cut of a satin skirt suit or in the zips on a woven boiler suit. But again, there was an almost fetish undercurrent to some of the pieces, like the lace-up, thigh-high leather boots. The knitwear, a Fendi staple, veered sensual, too. Turtlenecks just thinly woven enough to reveal a hint of bra underneath. Cardigan dresses unbuttoned nearly to the hip. V-neck sweaters with straps that twisted delicately around the neck. Naturally, Delatrese herself designed the jewelry for the show, including earrings which interlock the Fendi double F logo over the ear. Playing with the same ideas driving the ready-to-wear, Silvia Venturini Fendi created a new handbag style, dubbed the Multi. As the name might suggest, the accessory can swap between two different silhouettes, folding from a daytime-ready tote to an evening-worthy bag. I think what is really nice is the movement of the bag, that it can be two things in one. She said, that duality is very Fendi, as is the idea of something which appears simple but, in reality, is very complex. Certainly, that designation could be applied to the Fendi Fall 2023 collection at large, ladylike, with hints of subversion built in for those who know where to look. So, in a world forever changed by recent events, many have been struggling to find a new uniform for the way in which they want to navigate the world today. In Prada collection, several variations on what that new hybrid uniform could be were represented by utilitarianism, masculinity, precision, and an enveloping of the body. Seeking a redress of purpose, the slimmed-down suits from the menswear show were repurposed here, with the same sharp-collared cutaway shirt collars, attached to knitwear and an ultra-high waist on cropped pants. A military take on the shirt dress saw it transform as a new iteration of an evening gown, complete with extended train. Describing it more succinctly, the duo said, "Uniforms are sartorial representations of care and responsibility, transformed utilizing the aesthetic language of evening wear. Turning an aesthetic that was designed to reflect a sameness, mundanity even, being rethought for the occasion where market is picking up on a narrative of how everyday clothing can speak to the consumer in a new way." Talking about Fendi, believing in the potency and allure of good design, Fall 2023 collection was his strongest to date. Relying on the appeal of a well-cut coat and inventive construction techniques which will appeal to, rather than alienate the Fendi customer, the designer gave us a collection of, to use a term that we will all be over-familiar with this season, real-world clothes. The use of hushed textures that gave a soft shine, such as satins and velvets, helped to create a sense of tactility to contrast the utilitarian looks in leather, and there was a cohesive message of ultra-luxury in the paring back and pushing forward the idea of buying into simplicity, not only as a way to elevate but also to quiet the noise of the hyperbolic design trends, which have been popular of late. Considering that, The consumer is thinking twice about where they place their discretionary spend. There has been a slow, but steady wave who are looking to trade up and invest in fashion that lasts beyond the fads. And for fall 2023, Jones twisted knitwear, layered pants, and sequin-lined coats will work hard for the money. The palette of cool neutral tones reflected the times we are all living through, and created an elevated level of desirability by drumming home the idea of everyday clothes, from sharp-tailored suits to soft separates, asymmetric midi knits, and layered skirts and pants. The designer shifted focus onto clothes that will be coveted for their echoes of elegance. It wasn't all serious business attire, though, as the exploration and elevation of deconstruction meant that tailored waistcoats came with grown-on additions at the sides to create a two-in-one hybrid, with the same concept being applied to a pair of pants. Very subversive indeed. It's just like a Prada, but it's a bit different. And that's great. Thanks for your watching. Your Valerie.